I thought I would hop on and do a bit of a live for you today. Now, I wanted to, while you're popping on here, the question which has been popping up this week has been about when do you stop trying to manifest a specific person? Do you wait until a certain time, or what do you actually do? So this is a big question. This is a big question. Hi, Alice. So the question of if you have a specific person and how long do you wait for that person while you're manifesting? So I'm going to say this, it's different for different people. We all reach a point of that's enough now. So really, if you can say to yourself, okay, what would be reasonable for me? Would it be 5 years? Would it be 3 years? Would it be 6 months? It's really a personal thing. I think for the women, especially those that would like to have children, this is an even bigger question because you can't wait forever. Our body clocks, doesn't matter how much law of assumption, law of attraction, or Neville you do, nature will trump all. So in regards to looking to manifest a specific person and also to have a child, you might want to consider there being a time limit, okay? You do your best, you do the techniques, you work on your self-love, you visualize, you're living in the end. But if you want to have children, I would suggest you do have a time limit, as in a maximum time to manifest an SP, okay? Now, I'm going to start answering questions now that you guys have started popping in. Carolina, is it okay to barely think about your desire anymore and just feel good knowing it's going to happen? Absolutely. It's totally okay. I think if more that we would manifest better and faster, because the better you feel, the better the magnet you are to attract. Okay? Okay, up leveling like a queen. Now your question is, I am manifesting a specific person that I have in mind right now, and I'm getting my ducks in a row with my career and living situation. I am okay waiting 12 months. Okay, excellent. It's good to know. It's really good to know, because we need to have not this unlimited thing going ahead, I think. Now, if you don't want to have children, then you probably have more leeway because your body clock isn't ticking if you're a woman. So good food for thought for those of you that are going to be rewatching this later. If I'm looking to manifest a specific person, how long am I willing to wait? And you need to make an idea about how long. You need to know for yourself. Now, Nayana, even if you are having doubts and negativity, I'm not sure. Are you referring to what I just said, or are you asking something separate, darling? Just give me a bit more information so I can answer that properly. Okay? Hi, Ryan. Hello, hello. Nice to see you again. Your little avatar, anyway. So yes, the whole SP question is a big question. And, you know, some of us take a while to manifest them. So in my case, I had set, I think if I look back, about a 2-year, but I wasn't someone who wanted to have children. So it wasn't that much of a pressing thing for me. Okay. Now, MHM, surely time shouldn't matter. If you set a time, aren't you putting a limiting belief on that manifesting? Well, that's all well and good if you don't want to have kids. But if you do, you're not going to beat nature trumps all. we are part of nature. Nature set us up with certain things at certain times of our life. So you may see it as putting a limiting belief on manifesting, but I think it's working within what nature does and also within the law of attraction and the law of assumption. So, you know, I don't think it's a limiting belief. I think it's actually being aware of the systems that work as well as law of attraction, as well as law of assumption, as well as Neville's living in the end, etc., etc. Imagination creates reality. We have to yield to things and understand how the systems work. Now, I'm hearing a lot about law of assumption, law of assumption, law of assumption. And as much as it is a good law, and it's a wonderful law, it's not the only law. If you're going to really do this work, there comes a point where you don't just focus on one law. You look at the law of liberty, you look at the law of assumption, you look at the law of projection. If you do a little Google, you will see there are many, many laws, and they dovetail and work together. So as we educate ourselves about manifesting, make sure you don't stay fixated on one thing, because that one thing is part of a system and it operates simultaneously together. Okay? Okay. Up-leveling like a queen. Did you always know you didn't want children? I'm 66% no, but there is room for reconsideration. I wish I felt more certain one way or another. I am 31. How did you find certainty in the choice? Wow, good question. Did I always know I didn't want children? I don't think I remember thinking, when I was in my 20s, I remember thinking, I'll think about that later in my 30s. You know, I'm young. And then in my 30s, I was thinking, do I want children? It wasn't really a thought for me. And then when I hit my late 30s, I thought, if I'm going to have children, I probably need to be thinking about whether I want to or not. And the fact that I wasn't thinking about it kind of made the decision for me. I remember after a breakup, I had about a half an hour where I really, really, really wanted children, but I can see now when I look back, it was coming from grief and loss and thinking, if I had chosen to do that, would that have saved the relationship because the other person wanted children? But there was something in me that knew that having children with that person would have not been a good choice, and it wouldn't have been. So I understand where you're at, because depending on what age you are, and you being 31, it's a huge thing, because you're right in that sort of 31 to about 35 where you're really seeing a lot of people around you have children, a lot of people having second children and all of that. So, you know, I think if you're not sure, just sit and wait, and I think it reveals itself over time. If you don't have, some people, I mean, my mum had me at 18. She wanted children from the moment she was able to know about it. So, and I'm glad I had a mother like that, because she was a wonderful mum, because she really wanted children, and she made us feel very, very loved. So, you know, it's a big, big thing. So perhaps just sit with it and say, okay, if I'm 50, how would I feel? And you can only do your best to project forward, but how would I feel if I didn't have children in my 50s and up? And how would I feel if I had? Which way would feel good? And you can only judge from where you're standing now the best you can. MS. Hi, and yes, sometimes there is an inner voice which pops up every now and then that I might not get my manifestation. What to do? Well, there is a chance that you might not. This is really a moving thing. Like, it's moving all the time, as in our relationship to what we get and our relationship to what we don't get. So life is about we cannot control. We can influence through focusing, through radiating love, through doing our self-love, through doing scripting, doing reading Neville, applying and doing imaginal scenes, but we cannot control. And this is where we become aware that the bigger God or source, whatever word you prefer, is the warehouse. It is where we get stuff from. So we can prepare the soil as best we can. We can water it and plant seeds, but there is no absolute guarantee that you will get what you want. And I know that that is, perhaps not the best news, but I always think when you really look back and you really wanted something and then you didn't get it, like a job or a relationship. And when you look back and it's 3 years later, you go, my goodness, I'm so glad I didn't get that because look what I've got now instead. So sometimes not getting a manifestation is not such a bad thing. When we really want something, go for it as best you can. Focus, imagine, surrender and let go, work on your self-love, make sure you're not trying to get, and really become in the best possible state you can to be able to attract the manifestation. And you know what? If you do that, you will have a really good track record of getting many, many, many things. And you will become confident in your abilities. You will get more secure in your ability to manifest. But it's human to think, what if I don't get my manifestation? There are some things that feel really big, but you can still keep at it. You're developing a skill, you're working a muscle. And the better you do, as in the better you practice, you will start to see patterns of you improving and getting to where you want to go. So, it's okay to have doubt. It's okay to just wonder if it'll happen to you sometimes. We're human, we have an emotional system, and that's, how we are. So don't beat yourself up if you have those moments. Okay, Carolina, is it our dominant state that manifests, or would having an off day affect our manifestation? Well, if you have an off day, just pulls the handbrake up for a bit. I mean, if you have an off 6 months because you're just marinating in negative emotion and you might be stuck in depression or anxiety, then yeah, that's going to affect it. But if you're having a normal human experience where it's going up and down and you might have an off day, don't hold yourself, don't nail yourself to the cross over it. It's okay. You can have like a trajectory like this, but it might go like this along the way. The trajectory is still going in one direction, but you've got some days where you've had a hard work day, or you've had some sad news from a relative, or you lost your job or whatever, and those sorts of things are going to affect us because we're human, and it's okay. It's cutting ourselves some slack, cut yourself some slack. Say, I'm going to surrender, I let go. I'm going to relax more. Around love and relationships, I think it's really not that hard. I know it feels hard when you're trying to do it, but I'm going to tell you why it's not hard. Because once you understand that it is about letting go of intensity, letting go of fear, letting go of not feeling good enough, relaxing more, being in joy more, doing things that make you feel good more, the more you live like that, the more the relationship just comes in, because it's a match to you. So the more you can do that, the more you relax, the more you surrender, the more you stop pushing, the more you let go of your neediness, the more you work on meeting your needs, the more you work on being a happy human being and trying to give and radiate a better vibe as you move through your day, your life smooths out, your relationships smooth out, and that specific person is so much more willing to be around you if you've got one. Kayla, And yes, would you use the Ho'oponopono meditation to help forgive yourself for a fight you were forgiven for but can't get over? Or is it self-love what needs to be worked on? It was with my SP. Okay. Good question, Kayla. I would practice the Ho'oponopono because sometimes it's almost like we have such difficulty forgiving ourselves, especially when we know about law of attraction, especially when we know about manifesting, especially when we know about, just the stuff like that Neville teaches or Florence, that everything we think, feel, and believe has a vibrational frequency that goes out and comes back. So it is, I think, about practicing Ho'oponopono. I think if you can do it as much as you can for a while, like in the morning, in the shower, when you're cooking, just don't go back and replay the fight. The only time I would replay it, Kayla, is perhaps to revise it. Okay, there's a whole revision playlist on my channel, so you might want to try that. Okay, so yeah, self-forgiveness is challenging because you think if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't be here, and now I've caused myself some suffering, and they're okay, but I'm not, and I'm beating myself up, and I feel angry at myself and all of that. So, I'm sorry. You're saying it to the self. I'm sorry that I am beating myself up. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for hurting myself twice. Once with the thing I did, and two, now I'm beating myself with a stick. I love you. I love you. You're human. You make mistakes, and you didn't murder anybody. I always think if you just, look at it in the grand scheme of things, and then you don't beat yourself up as much. And then breathe in, breathe out. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And then you can practice, I love myself as well. Nayana, I pray daily, but I get negative thoughts while praying. What to do? I don't think that's a problem too much, my love. I mean, I get thoughts when I'm meditating, and I've been meditating for 30 years. I have thoughts that come in about things that have been bugging me, or as soon as you sit to meditate or pray, you then are aware of what's going on inside of you, you see. So I think if you can just say to yourself, I'll pray the best I can, I'll meditate the best I can. It's progress, it's not perfection. And the thing is, you say to yourself, okay, I didn't do great today, but you know what? I'm praying again tomorrow. I'm meditating again tomorrow. I'll do it again. Some days you have great prayer and meditation sessions. Other times you just feel totally distracted and you feel like, God, that was a waste of time. But it's never a waste because it's not about doing it perfectly every day. It's just about doing it and saying, you know what, I commend myself. I'm proud of myself for doing it today. Gojo, can just do self-love and let go SP is enough? Yes, yes. Because self-love is raising your vibe. Self-love is going from not feeling loved or not feeling good or not feeling secure or not feeling worthy or not feeling that you matter. And then you raise your vibe to I am love, I do matter, I am important, I am good enough. I am good enough. So many problems come from I am not good enough, you see. So to answer your question, if you do just self-love and letting go, and there's a 15-minute surrender and letting go meditation, I think the more you surrender, the more quickly things work out, the more quickly things smooth over, the more quickly things fall back into place. It's that tight control, forcing, pushing, that I think is a big handbrake to stuff not working. Or if it does work out, it comes with a whole bunch of problems if you're doing it from that control place. Okay. Anu, how to change office shift timing from evening to morning. I would try a script, Anu. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy I'm now doing the morning shifts. I love the morning shifts. Oh, I remember when I was doing the evening shift and I didn't like that at all. This is so much better. I'm free in the afternoons. I love the morning. It suits my body clock. I love that they've given me the shifts that I desire. I'm a better worker when I work in the morning. I love this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give thanks in advance. That shows trust, it shows faith, and it also puts you in the solution. Practice that. See how you go. Any more questions, anyone? Okay, here we go. Selma. Hello, Selma. Which of your meditations is good to attract love? Selma, just go to my main channel and put in meditation to generate love. Those keywords, generate love. Have a listen to that. There's also a whole playlist for new relationships. So if you put new relationships and then meditation after my name, you'll find them all there. Okay? Nice to see you, my lovely. Good stuff. Harpreet. Jeet. Pardon, my love. How to shift from being super close friends with my ex to being romantically together again? Well, it's being playful, it's being comfortable in your own skin, it's being happy and light to be around, it's enjoying the moments and not pushing for more, it's being grateful for what's given. All of those things really help. So practice that. Get into that relaxed. The more relaxed you are, the more things work out. You can do living in the end. You can do a meditation for a specific person, but I would do more the getting into the vibe. Feel beautiful, feel sexy, feel playful, feel confident, feel secure, feel like you're enjoying yourself and that your happiness is in your hands. And when you're in that state, wow, magnet, magnet, magnet. Sharon, hello. What are the reasons why an SP ghosts us? Can it also mean that they are going through some stuff too and not totally because we are chasing needy? Yes. Good question, and yes to the answer. Yes, I think when we do a lot of this law of attraction work and, you know, the create your own reality stuff, it's like we take on feeling responsible for everything. But yes, sometimes people don't see us because something's happened in their own lives, and it's quite consuming in terms of whether it's work, whether it's a family member, whether it's a child, whether it's an elderly parent, or whether it's a pet. All of those things really influence people's lives. So yeah, if you can say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to cut this person some slack, and there could be something going on in their lives, rather than, oh, what have I done now? Have I been needy? Have I been too much? Have I been chasing, you know? Because that we beat ourselves with a stick with too. So try just radiating love, generating love meditations, send them good wishes, hope that they're well, and say to yourself, he'll be back. He'll be back. Samath. Hi, Agnes. It's always nice to see you here. Something I was manifesting, my SP. It's been a year now, but now I don't know as much and feel like moving on, but sometimes I miss her again. What to do? Well, really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you manifest a person or not. It's that you feel good and you feel happy and secure and loved. If you do that, then, you know, it's okay to miss people sometimes because we miss the connection and the fun. But try and reinfect your mind with all the good times you've had with that person. The more you go over the good times, the universe gets a signal from you that's what you want again. It doesn't know whether it's a past memory or doesn't care. And therefore, it will recreate it for you because it just draws from what you're focusing on, you see. And that's why it's important not to focus on loss. And you need to withdraw your attention from your sense of loss if that you feel that you've been in that a little bit. Okay? You can do just self-love work and attract people back. But if you want to enjoy some imaginal scenes and scripts, make it fun. Enjoy yourself. Curti, hi Agnes, thank you for the live. How do we get out of victim mindset? Holding resentment against an SP is mainly cause we feel like a victim. Right. Okay. Let me go through this step at a time. How do we get out of victim mindset? I would, if you can, write down your negative thoughts that are in that victim mode. And then you go, okay, I want to dissolve and let go of these. So I'm going to flip them into positive statements, and then I'll read those every day, the mirror image. Now, that's the top level. We need to go underneath. It depends what you're resenting the SP for, okay? Because if you are resenting something that they did, something that they didn't do, something you would have liked them to do, something that they said they were going to do and they didn't follow through, it's still in a way quite similar in that they didn't, let's say, rise up to your expectations. So ask yourself the question, if I look at this differently, am I resentful to them because I wanted more from them than they were willing to give, and they couldn't give it, or they wouldn't give it, or they had a family that said you're not going with this person, so they've been pulled away by their family? We have to look at the thoughts that we have about specific people. Okay, so in regards to your SP, it's shifting. Have a look while I think of it. I'm going to go back to what I'm saying. While I think of it, go to YouTube, put my name and put the word interpretation. Because it's often there's 3 YouTubes you can watch. It's often our interpretation of what someone did that causes the resentment, you see. So if you, for example, if you think, my SP, I was always giving more than he was, okay? And that may be true. But then you resent them for that. And you go, okay, so I wasn't giving unconditionally, and the other person might have been taking, and now I'm going to focus on them and be resentful. What I need to do is ask yourself this very important question. If that showed up in front of me the way it did, and the end happened the way it did, or that fight happened the way it did, what did I have going on that happened in front of me? If you ask that question, then you can dismantle the resentment, because the focus then will be on you. I was fearful. I had a fear of abandonment. I had a fear of loss. I had a fear of another woman. I had a fear of another man. I had a fear of never getting the commitment, never getting the marriage, etc., etc. So if you can start with that, that will be a powerful question that will make you look at just what you were doing. And it's not to judge yourself. It's just to say, okay, now I understand. I was needy for love, or I was trying to get more. I was dissatisfied. I was looking to them as my oxygen tank of love. That's my thing that I need to correct. That's my thing I need to work on. Okay? So once you do that, you get to be way more powerful, because you don't focus on what they did or didn't do. You focus more on you and what you need to correct and what they taught you in that situation. I remember when my husband cheated on me with, firstly, a woman, and then also men. Now, I didn't know that I had married someone who was bisexual. Now, I have no issues with anyone being bisexual, but I'm heterosexual, and I would have liked to have been married to someone who was heterosexual. So I could have said, what the heck did I do that I attracted that, and I didn't see it coming? Well, what I did was, I felt not good enough. What I did was, I felt second best. I had a fear of loss. I had a fear of abandonment. I had a fear of other women. And not only did I get women, but I got men as well. So now I can laugh because it's quite funny. At the time, I felt devastated because I lost the marriage because of my fears. That was hard to swallow at the time. But it's like now I know better, I can do better. So it's like I look back and I see that as an experience. But it would be very easy to say, I'm the victim and I have my hands on my hips and everybody's going to support me because you're the one that cheated and you're the one that, did this stuff and it destroyed the relationship. It would have been very easy for me to do that. And I would have had a lot of support. But when you know better, you have to do better. And because of that, it's like you can't keep blaming the other person. So I had to look at my stuff. He showed me where I was feeling not good enough, not secure. And because of that, that was what I had to work on, and I got better at it. And then I moved on to another relationship. But it's really important to look at the outside and go, okay, what does that teach me? And then I can move on and do better, And I mean, I've been in my relationship now. This is going into the 11th year. So you can change and you can get better and you can heal and you can course correct and get to where you want to go. Samath, you said, Agnes, thank you for these live sessions. It helps a lot. Oh, no problem. Well, I'm going to be doing more because I realized with going to Australia and then coming back here and then someone in my life going through, being very sick. Well, two people in my life, actually, that I hadn't done any lives. But now both of these people are on the mend and I'm a bit more free to be present to do what I need to do now. So I will be doing these once a week for quite some time. Oh, I'm glad you like the answer and a sweet little brotherly hug. Oh, received. That's lovely. Curtie, thank you so much. Oh, my pleasure. It's good to do what's good? Doing these Q&As, it's really good for me because I forget sometimes, firstly, what's in my head, and sometimes I don't know what you want to know. So I think, okay, I've talked a lot about SPs, about relationships, about brand new relationships, about love, about this, about that. But sometimes I like to know, what is it that you're still stuck on? What do you need help with? Where can I give you some relief, hopefully, by doing these lives? So, that's the aim, is to do a little bit more of this for you. Amber, and yes, I love your stuff. What would you be your basic toolkit for people learning to love themselves and manifestation? Good question. You've just given me an idea. I probably need to do a self-love toolkit. Thank you for the idea, but I will say what it is now. I think it's like, if you look at it like a four-legged stool, okay? To love yourself, firstly, I think looking after yourself better. What do I mean? Enough sleep, drink enough water, cook healthy food, get some exercise. So that's all in the self-love at the physical level. Then the next leg of the stool, the mental level. Start to train your mind to have better thoughts. So part of your mental health. How do you do that? Self-love meditations are great. Surrender meditations are great. Inner child meditations are great. And then you go, okay, and part of the mental health as well, to get the mind fit, the mental fitness is to do, I think, affirmations. So those two things for the mental level. I would add one more thing, Ho'oponopono. So when you are in transit, going to work, going shopping, when you start having negative thoughts about people, playing different negative scenarios, etc., and it's really about filling in those moments, give your mind something to do. So that's the mental level. The emotional level, I would practice doing inner child work, as in letting go of old emotions from childhood, okay? I think that's hugely impactful in a positive way because your childhood wounds, like Neville says, the past is still alive in you. So if you're getting reoccurring issues today in relationships, let's say, then it's like the past is still unresolved. It's still, you're reinfecting yourself with a fear of loss, fear of abandonment, not being secure, etc., etc. Okay? So it's really important to then do that work. So second leg of the stool. Third leg of the stool, I would practice, if you want, writing a list of your manifestations and then practicing perhaps a little bit of scripting or imaginal scenes. There's playlists on all of these things I'm mentioning, darling, on this main channel. Okay, so just put my name and then a keyword scripting playlist or revision playlist or whatever, and you'll see, and then you can go into it in more detail on your own when you're ready. So I've lost my train of thought. Ho'oponopono, inner child, going through that, and then the scripting and the imaginal scenes and practicing those. Scripting, you do it once and you just really go through it, reading it after that. Okay, you might add a sentence or two. You go, oh, I forgot to put that. Let me put this in. Scripts, write it in the present tense and then go, okay, I'm going to read that script every night before I go to bed. And I'll just read it once or twice for 5 to 7 minutes. So nice and easy. And I think that's enough. I think that's enough. But thank you for the idea for the self-love toolkit. I will do that soon because I don't think I've done one. I'm in the middle of writing a self-love journal workbook, but that won't be ready for a while because that's quite a comprehensive thing. But the self-love toolkit I can do in the next week for all of you. Denisha, can a narcissist heal if they did the work using LOA? Well, I think it takes more than that, Denisha. If you have a look, I did an interview with a woman who specializes in narcissism. That is her main specialty. So if you go and listen to that interview, I also did another couple of videos on narcissism. Delve more into that. Narcissism is a specific area that requires more in-depth answers. I don't think it's just a case of doing law of attraction, because there's been a lot of narcissists that have done law of attraction work and it's been to just get stuff off others. So if you have got narcissism in yourself or you're seeing it in someone that you want to be with, there's definitely people that do work specifically on that topic. And also, if the narcissist is willing to change, I'm not going to say that they can't change, they can, but it also depends on the honesty with the self to be willing to do that, I would say. Okay? Okay. Harleen, hello. How self-love is useful for attracting a dream job. If you can guide me on how to attract a dream job besides doing job meditation, I'm having trouble basically attracting the specific salary. I would say it is useful. Self-love's useful for everything, because if you're wanted and you feel loved and secure, then you will be wanted by an employer, and also you will be seen as an asset, and then you will be offered more money. So while you're looking for more money, say, what can I give to this rather than what can I get from it? There has to be a point where you come from that place of what value can I give? What will I add to the place that I am going towards? Make a list of that. Make a list of what you will offer. Make a list of what value you give a business. I think that's a great list to write, rather than this is what I want from a dream job. I mean, you can write that list too, but I think this list is more of a giving and being of service and saying to yourself, I am going to be of service. And I can also suggest that you write a script. I'm happy and grateful now that I now have the best job I've ever had. Oh, this is the best financial day of my life. I love the people I work with. Oh my goodness, my colleagues are amazing. We're on the same page. We're the same flock. We help each other. Everybody has such a great vibe. When you walk into the room in the morning, into this company, you can just feel that people want to be there, and I want to be there. You know, it's getting into those types of, it's like a rampage, a dream job rampage. Actually, that would be something else I could do, is a dream job rampage. I don't think I've done one of those. So I've got 2 things to do now. Try those, Harleen. Okay. Amber, any tips for getting back into self-love whenever you fall off? It happens more times than I'd like to admit. Yeah, it does sometimes, but I would say, Amber, set some alarms on your phone. I find setting alarms for the day. Say you go to bed Sunday night, tomorrow you've got to work, Monday, but you go, okay, I can do my affirmations on my way to work. You can do your Ho'oponopono on your lunch break if you eat alone. You can do your imaginal scene on the bus on the way home, and you can do your meditation for surrender and letting go when you get home. So just set alarms for what your day looks like so you don't forget. I wouldn't do stuff 7 days a week, because it's like people that do New Year's resolutions and get a gym membership, and then after 6 weeks, they're not even going once a week, and it's wasted money. So set the tone at 4 days a week, and then it's doable. It's really doable to do 4 days a week. And it's just, if you're consistent at 4 days a week, it's better than doing 7 days a week for 6 weeks and then you fall over from exhaustion. The turtle wins the race. Be consistent, be steady, 1% a day, get there. Use your phone to remind you to do things. Like today, I'm about to, when I hang up from you, I'm going to do my eye exercises. I've got my neck and shoulder exercises. I've got my little arm weights. I've been for an hour's walk. I did my affirmation that I wanted to do today for an hour. So it's just setting those pockets when you can, when you're not working. And then also, how can I be of service and be giving? So today, this is my being of service. This is my giving today. So it's having a good balance with your day and, just doing the best you can. Eleanor. Hi, Agnes. I love using Isn't It Wonderful and have seen amazing results. That's so interesting, Eleanor. That was my affirmation today. I said, isn't it wonderful what's happening to me now? That was my affirmation when I went on my walk today. So we're on the same page. Can I just use this indefinitely, or do I need to get specific at some point? Nope. I remember using this years ago, and I had the 3 most amazing things happen in 1 week. Someone that I didn't know contacted a company that I used to work with to get a hold of me, and then paid all my expenses to go to this big trade fair, paid all my hotel, and then they paid me to do the shopping for their brand new store. And then a guy I didn't know contacted me and flew me to another part of the country to do all the tiling, colors, and because I was doing interior stuff at that time, interior design for houses. And he paid for me to stay there and everything. And then there was a third thing. Oh yeah, I was walking past my mechanics and he said, hey, how come you're walking? What happened? Because I'd walk right past the mechanic to go to work because I didn't have a car, because I'd sold the last car and I hadn't bought a new one. And he said to me, look, my mother's selling a car and it's in such good condition, I don't want to just sell it to anyone. But he said, I've known you a long time, because he'd been my mechanic for about 5 years. And he said, I know you really look after your cars. He said, I'd like to offer it to you. And so I ended up buying that car, and he found me. I hadn't even started looking yet. So it's like, as soon as you start doing, isn't it wonderful what's happening to me now, things just come out of nowhere, like things you wouldn't even have thought about. So it's really good. If you don't, say you've got too many things, like you want a new job, you want more money, you want a new home or whatever, and there's too much to imagine all these different things. So that's when it's a good time to use Isn't It Wonderful What's Happening to Me Now. And it puts you in a good mood because you're not trying to specifically imagine this or this or this. It's like it's a nice blanket thing that sits over like an umbrella over the top of all of your desires. Eleanor, so Isn't It Wonderful can work for an SP? Yes. I just find this so much easier than affirming for SP specifically. Yes. Because what happens is it puts you into a good feeling. It puts you in a state of love. It puts you into a state of, I love this. This is so great. And that energy goes out as joy, happiness, and love. And what does love stick to? People that want to love you. The SP, if you've had stuff with them, it unblocks the cork So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more. And then I am going to go and have some ice cream. Anu, Agnes, how to remove dark circles around your eyes. Is that eyes? I think it's supposed to be eyes. Well, I would look at, go to YouTube, put in Dr. Berg and put dark circles around eyes. I would also Google perhaps some natural remedies for dark circles under the eyes. And I would also look at, are you working too much? Are you getting enough sleep? I mean, some people just have to work a lot because they're looking after other people, you know? So sometimes you can't fully change these things, but you can definitely improve them once you know what it is. So yeah, try and work out by looking at, Dr. Berg is excellent for things like that. And also have a really good look at your routine. If you're not getting 7 to 8 hours, maybe you're someone that needs that, you know? So start with that. Abel, hey, I love affirmations. Which ones would you recommend to get booked for more modeling gigs? Why is it they always pick me? I'm busy, I've got other stuff to do. Make it like you're getting a lot of calls. Why is it that I absolutely love my work and I keep getting more recommendations? And then start just you can do the imagining that goes with it, getting the call from the agency or whatever. It's about feeling relaxed that you've got a lot of jobs and moving around, like carry yourself around the house. Like, how would it feel if you had a lot of modeling jobs? You'd have a lot of money. You'd be in interesting clothing. You'd be with different models and different people. You'd be in that creative industry. I love modeling. I love modeling every week. I love that I get so many jobs. I love that I'm sought after in my field. I have the perfect look. Feel good enough. I am good enough. I am secure. Radiate love out. Those 3 things attract everything, including this. Okay? Well, everyone, I'm going to love you and leave you. I've got some pecan caramel ice cream in my freezer that I really need to have. It is a need. Oh, it's such a hot day here in London. It's wonderful. So big hugs, lots of love, and I will hop on more regularly and I will post it on the community tab like I've done today. And yeah, I can't work out how to schedule a live and then hop on to that thread. It just isn't working. So I'll just announce it on the community tab on the day or the day before. Okay? Big hugs, everyone. Enjoy this wonderful day. And just, you know, isn't it wonderful what's happening to me now? Isn't it wonderful what's happening to me now with everything? So I will see you soon.